Hello, Astro Darlings, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. My name's Deb McBride, and I am here in breezy Escazú, Costa Rica, where I am doing a patio podcast on today, Sunday, the 10th of March in the year 2024. So, we are in the midst of a new moon in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and Pisces new moons invite us to go inside, deep within ourselves. Now, I feel that we should be going within on a regular basis. But for those who don't, and don't take time to meditate and feel into your emotions and feel into your senses and your intuition and get really sensing things instead of thinking things, because Pisces doesn't think, Pisces feels. Pisces is all about feeling. So if you are not a person, if you're a person who stays in their head, and you're not a person who takes time to get close to yourself and connect with yourself, do a deep connection with self, then this is an invitation from the universe to go deeper and to get connected to self, to go within. And, we do need to take these moments to step back and receive information from the universe, visions, creativity, inspiration that helps us go forward. It's a balance always in inner work and then outer work. We receive from within and then we take steps out, right? So Pisces is a great time because Pisces is all about resting and connecting with a sense of peace and calm, restorative energy. It's where we go to convalesce. So if you're feeling a little less than perky this weekend, that's okay. That's what you need. Go take some rest. Go take some time. Just be contemplative. Enjoy that. Luxuriate in rest. Maybe you want a hot bath. Maybe you want to go do something like I went in the pool today, right? Something watery. This is all very soothing and conducive to Pisces energy. I got to hand it to Pisces. They just go about their thing and do their thing in their world, their creativity, their inspiration. They don't, to my estimation, to my feeling, they don't go and do things like, oh no, this world is too hard for me. I can't keep up. Some of them keep up just fine. They just sort of glide from one thing to another. It's the rest of us who are not Pisces and if you don't have a lot of Neptune, you may not have a lot of patience for this, mostly because what happens is they are paying attention to a signal out of this world. They're paying attention to, and I'm an Aquarius, we do that too from time to time, but they're paying attention to their own rhythm and the rhythm of the universe and where their sensitivity is taking them. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's not on your time. It's not on my time. It's on their time. It's on Pisces time. It's that veil between what exists and what doesn't. And it is a mysterious sign in that way. And you don't necessarily know what they're up to. You might see something coming from them that's unexpected, They can be tricky. They can be tricky. Pisces energy can be tricky. And sometimes it's a place of denial in the zodiac too. So it's the veil between what's real and what's not. Is it real? Isn't it? Does it matter in this world or doesn't it? But the other thing that we have to remember about them, and my teacher told us this many years ago. He said, when you fall in love with a Pisces, you have to throw the book away. And you have to throw the book away. You can't tap your watch and expect them to respond to that. You can't understand why they vanish when they do. And I don't think you can blame them, unless, of course, there's some very serious things going on, then that's another matter. It's interesting because I think the water signs, all three of them, now we know Scorpios have a reputation for being secretive, and I think Cancerians can be too, but I think it's more privacy. I think with all of the water signs, they're very close to their feelings. They're very sensitive. They're not telling you everything like a Gemini would. Like, okay, so I'm an Aquarius with a Gemini moon. I'm going to talk about things. The water signs don't necessarily do that. You might not know what they're thinking. It may not be thoughts. It may be feelings and emotions, and it defies language. And that's one of the things that you have to be aware of with water signs when you're dealing with water signs. I think the term throw the book away when it comes to Pisces is really accurate. So they're Pisces. They're not Gemini. They're Pisces. And Gemini is not Pisces. So when you want a Gemini to like chill and get spiritual and go within, it's a little more effort for them. Okay. So the Geminis in the audience who are listening to this are like, oh, that again? Like, what do you mean go within? I have to analyze this. I have to think about this. I need to process that information. Yeah. There's a balance. There's always a balance between going in and kind of processing the information you receive as a result of meditating and stepping back. Meantime, this is the lunation that swings the door open to the eclipse period. And I talked about this last week. There is always a lunation before the eclipse. So the next time we have a lunation, so this was a new moon, we'll have a full moon in 2 weeks. This means that the eclipse is the full moon. So it will be a lunar eclipse. And as you already know, as I spoke about last week, it's the moon in Libra and the sun in Aries. And so we'll be in Aries by then, 2 weeks from now. Yes, we're in the final 10 days of Pisces. This is the last third of Pisces. So we still have a bit of a way to go in the sign of Pisces, teaching us how to let go and trust and have faith and to not analyze and not hyper think about something, right? So we are then going to step into the Aries portion of the year, and we are also going to have that experience of the eclipse. So you'll notice right now it seems a little sleepy. My neighbor just said to me that he's like, I'm so lazy this weekend. He's not lazy. He's worked his butt off all week, and he's tired. So he's watching movies. This is what you do in a Pisces new moon. You go in the pool, you watch movies, you take a nap, you rest. You can also, spark some creative things going on for yourself, especially with that Mars-Uranus square that we had yesterday. But as I was saying, this is the eclipse. This is the eclipse energy that is coming to us now. This particular lunation just will spring the door, get it ready, get us ready, and we step out into this new energy that's rolling down the hill. Of course, it's going to start picking up. I don't think that this is going to be one of those situations where we are suddenly like, oh yeah, it's an eclipse. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm going back to sleep. It's not that. Right now we're in this vibe of this new moon, and then we're going to step into, the birds are so sweet. The birds are chirping. Then we're going to step into that energy of the eclipse, and you'll feel it building over the next couple weeks. Eclipse energy always brings emotions to the table. It always, we always experience something that is shifting our perspective and shifts things to a point where we feel different afterwards. Usually after the second eclipse, everything is settled. We know what we're doing. Sometimes they don't have anything to do with each other. Sometimes the first eclipse is one situation, the second eclipse is another situation. But, when we get to them, we are definitely experiencing something different. Something comes to the table. Now, I heartily recommend that you take care. Do not run away from tasks and things that you need to deal with. Be responsible. This eclipse does not include Saturn, but I think what we're looking at is some, energies, Aries, Libra. This is cardinal energy. It's like take a step forward. Cardinal energy always needs to take a step forward. The nodes are in cardinal, so we may have to wake up and do a few things. It's good to keep moving during cardinal energy. With the sun going into Aries, we all want a fresh start, right? Now, keep going. I didn't say light the fire and start something brand new during the eclipse, because we don't do that during eclipses, okay? If you want to light fires, you want to start them now, okay? So this is a very strong eclipse at the south node, okay? But the second one I think is stronger because it's at the north node. I prefer a north node eclipse. We're not releasing so much. We're not getting rid of so much. The north node is like our where we're going to get fulfilled. So, the new moon at the north node, I think that's a good thing. But that's not till April 8th, okay? So, we've got Mercury now in Aries, where it went late last night. So Mercury has finished its tour of duty with the zodiac and is starting all over again at the beginning of the zodiac. And so while Aries season is still 10 days away or so, Mercury is giving us the call. Mercury is saying that, hey, I'm already here. It's already moved 1 degree since my time, 10 o'clock last night. And it's, not 10 o'clock when I'm doing this. So in 24 hours, Mercury moved very quickly. Mercury is going to go retrograde on April 1st. But we don't have to worry about that for another few weeks, for another 3 weeks or so. So we're really looking at Mercury getting revved up right now and then going to turn around on April 1st. So it's already in Aries. There's already fire. This is good. We needed some fire in the sky because there's really not much fire. There's air. There's a hell of a lot of water. There's earth, but we're not experiencing a lot of fire. So I'm glad Mercury has stepped into Aries because we're feeling a little more active and ambitious. Okay, so that's good. That's good. The moon has just passed over Neptune, and Neptune was definitely part of this new moon. The moon has left the conjunction with the sun and moved towards Neptune, which increased the Piscean stamp of this because Neptune is still in Pisces and Neptune rules Pisces. So this is very, very sensitive and imaginative, inspiring, but also a little sleepy. So it's kind of a sleepy Sunday. Let it be that. It's Sunday, okay? We're also then, we've got 4 planets in Pisces right now. So, and I know Saturn's there, but it's still, we're all past Saturn. The sun is past Saturn. Mercury's moved on. Moon and Neptune are not where Saturn is. So this is definitely a sleepy kind of Sunday weekend feeling as I sit with the garden and the birds chirping. So it's very nice, very pleasant. Then tomorrow we will have a new planet in Pisces because Venus is going to finish its last days in Aquarius today and tomorrow, because at 5:50 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, and I guess Eastern time zone is now in daylight savings time, but this is 5:50 p.m. Venus enters Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces. Venus loves to be in Pisces. So this is a great thing. So as we are moving, the moon moves out and moves into Aries, which it's going to do later today. Venus is going to move and we'll still have 4 planets in Pisces. This is Aphrodite rising from the sea. This is the watery goddess. This is the intuitive goddess. This is where she is being, giving blessings, and where she is the benevolent, sensitive, creative, inspiring goddess. Okay, we like Venus in Pisces, and she's all very romantic there, very romantic, beautiful, ethereal beauty not of this world. It isn't Venus in Taurus. It's where she is at her most ethereal and spiritual and not of this earth. So, even though she's Libra, Venus is when she goes into Libra, she's her very aesthetic self. This is where she's a little untouchable, where she's a little out of reach, where she is the goddess that we look up to, that we admire, her beauty is blinding. Okay, that's that Venus. That's when she goes there, and she goes into that part of the zodiac. That's where the goddess is the most creative, sensitive, deeply intuitive. So get your intuition on track, everybody. Get connected to what intuitive feelings. When you tap into that, you get all sorts of images, visions, intuitions, insights, feelings about where to take your work, where to take your creativity, how to nurture your children. Pisces is a nurturing sign. It can be tipsy too, but Venus there is asking for us to sort of pay attention on subtle levels and asking us to pay attention to our own inner beauty, everyone's own inner beauty, the things that we want to bring into the world when, we receive from Venus and Pisces, the information, the feelings, the senses we get from Venus and Pisces, giving us information about where to take things next, So it's a good time of year for that. It's very lovely. It's very glamorous, Venus and Pisces. So find some things to make yourself glamorous, whether you are feeling glamorous or not, no matter who you are. And remember that this is a time, and this is a really good exercise. Whenever we're in Pisces, we can shape shift, okay? And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean it in a tricky way. I said Pisces can be tricky, but we want to do this in the best way possible. You can tap into all of your identities with Pisces. And when I say identities, there's the glamorous one. There's the wealthy one. There's the sharp business person one. There's the genius in finance. All of them are within all of us. And one of the things that you can do is you feel into that. And this is really easy to do in Pisces. And then, since we've got the energy, let's use it. And then when we get out of Pisces, then you can actually start to use it in other areas of the zodiac. But you've got the experience of it now. So what that means is you bring up the energy of whatever you want to. So you can walk into the room and be feeling and emanating an energy, an identity. And that identity can do all sorts of things for you. We want to do this in a positive way. This is an acting exercise. If you go to acting classes, this is what they do in acting class. You have to bring up the character. This is how people learn how to act so that they can be in plays and musicals and movies and stuff and commercials. So this is what actors learn. They learn to bring up the identity of the character. And if the character is, someone who's grieving, they bring up the grieving person. If the character is someone who's glamorous, they bring up the glamorous person. Exactly what I'm saying. You sense into that energy and you let it emanate from you. This is how we manifest. This is how we do the meditations that help us tap into abundance, tap into health. You have to get up and feel the health. Pisces is brilliant at this, okay? That shape-shifting energy. I can go from being, the business genius to the person who walks in the room and everyone wants to know who they are and get to know them, to being the sensitive partner to someone. It's the identities that are all living within us. You can make magic happen, and Pisces is very magical. You can make magic happen with this. So I think this is a very well-known story. Marilyn Monroe, who had Neptune rising in her astrological chart, was someone who did this to great effect. I mean, she was one person, and then that image was something else, and then went on after she passed to be that myth. But when she would be with friends, she'd be her normal self, and then she'd at some point maybe say to them, hey, do you want to see me become her? Meaning the character, Marilyn Monroe. And she would, take off her sunglasses, put on her lipstick, do whatever she needed to do in that moment and become Marilyn. And then it was suddenly like throngs of people around her, right? When a moment ago it was all just she and her friends. So that's what the power of Neptune in Pisces is to make that identity shift when we need to. Like I said, don't use it for dark purposes. Use it when you need to boost your confidence in your business skills, to boost confidence in your creative skills, anything like that. When you want to see yourself, if you're having trouble, say for example, your business isn't doing well, you got to slide into the person who doesn't have a care in the world about their business. Their business is doing great. It's this feeling into something that creates it. This is how you really manifest, okay? If every day you go in and you're worried about something, then your worries are going to compound. If you go in and you're saying, I'm playing to win, and you bring up the energy of a winner, then you are going to start believing that, feeling that. People around you are going to start believing that and affirming that. This is what is the brilliance of Pisces, okay? That's what we want to focus on when we use Pisces energy correctly. We're going to get a stronger dose of this. More, Deb? There's more? Next Sunday, when the Sun and Neptune make their annual conjunction in Pisces, right? This is an energy that's going to be with us for a bit. You know, Venus is going to just step in tomorrow, and we're still in, another 10 days. We're not in Aries yet. So use this energy creatively. Use this energy dynamically. Use this energy in a way that feeds your soul. So here's a Piscean story. So the other day, Monday, so I did my podcast, not Sunday last week. As you know, I did it Monday. And Monday, I did the podcast in the morning. I sent it out. I put it up. And then, I don't know, half an hour later, my internet went down. And I'm looking at the modem, and it's flashing red. And so I had to grab Monica and tell her, my internet is down. I don't know if it's them or it's me or what. And you always want it to be them and not you. Because if it's you, then they have to come. Then they have to check everything. Then they may have to rewire everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was me, not them. Or it was here, not them. And so fortunately, this is not like when I was in New York. When I was in New York and the internet went down, I didn't have any resource. That was it. It was me. And then, my landlord on the first floor, he didn't have any internet. My second floor neighbor, he had very small internet. He barely used it, hardly used it at all. He had retired. So I was the only one in the building with internet, and that was the only way to do it. Here, I'm in this lovely community in a big garden, and so I just walk to another part of the garden, and I plug into somebody else's internet who knows me and knows that I'm doing this. So, and I went on Monica's internet, I went on my neighbor Ullman's internet. And so this is how I had to manage. And, it's never the same. Their internet is slower than your internet, So that was Monday. Tuesday, they said they'd call her. Something happened Tuesday afternoon. She said it came up on her phone. It didn't ring. She said they called me, but my phone didn't ring. I was sitting right next to my phone. She could tell the frustration in her voice. And I was like, okay, well, we got to try again. So we called them again. And, she called them and they said, oh, no, we fixed that. She's like, no, you didn't fix it. And the problem was, they said they had to come and probably some wire was broken. They had to come fix my wire somewhere. So we called them again. I guess it was Wednesday. And, Thursday, no action. And they told her a 12-hour window or something. And now it's Thursday, right? So this broke on Monday and now it's Thursday. It's all week. I'm tired of this. And I said, I'm going to Reiki my internet. And so I went into my Reiki space, my 5D Lemurian Reiki, and I sat here and just did the Reiki on the modem. And it's the nature of this Reiki that you can tap into, 5D space and sort of tweak things and move things around. And so I did. I used my Reiki techniques and I moved this 10 o'clock Thursday night, and 8 o'clock in the morning, they were here on Friday. And I said to myself, why didn't I do this on Monday? Why didn't I do this on Monday? So I, sent things into alignment. But this is the beauty of the 5D Reiki. And you can do this too. I teach this. You can get all 3 levels of Reiki if you work with me. And if you want to do that, just contact me. Deb@debmcbride.com, info@thegoldenastrologer.com. And you too can fix your internet quickly. I've done other things with this Reiki, but that, if you contact me, I'll tell you all about it. The great thing about it is when you do the different levels, you're certified. That's it. You don't have to see 20 people each time to get certified. No, once you do the session with me, you're certified. So look into it. It's very helpful, obviously. So this was very Neptunian. I went into the quantum field, the 5D, and I made some tweaks and sent some energies, and there you go. Magic. The next morning, my internet was fixed, and it was something on the pole at the street. It wasn't that they had to rewire my house. It was at the pole on the street. So, hurrah, all done. I will say this. Once again, when they called Monica on Friday morning, her phone didn't ring, and it was only because she was looking at her phone that she picked up. So she would have easily mixed it all over again. She was on her way to exercise class. So right there, that's how the Reiki works. It was fortuitous that she saw it and picked up the phone, because she would have missed it again. And that's why we love this Reiki. Okay, so this is another Neptunian energy, more Pisces energy, Neptunian week. And we need to use these energies creatively. We got to sprinkle a little magic in our lives. So when you do that, you are tapping into the forces of Neptune. You are tapping into the Piscean energies, just like I did with my internet. This was, I had a frustrating aspect going on from transit in my chart. And so this wasn't the only frustration I experienced this week, but I managed to Reiki this to this was probably by far the more practical frustration that I had, the most practical frustration out of the other things I couldn't really control. But I said, you know what, I'm going to try. It couldn't hurt, right? We got to think outside the box. When we want to solve problems in Pisces season with heavy duty Pisces energy, like the sun coming to Neptune, like a Pisces new moon, we've got to think outside the box, sprinkle some magic, and get creative about things, okay? And shapeshift a little bit. So these are the tools right now. Some shapeshifting, bringing up an energy that may not necessarily be you, bringing up an energy that is a different identity than the one you're schlepping around with every day. If you're just walking around like if you're unconscious anyway, like in your day going to the store like la-di-da, you might as well tap into something a little more savvy, right? And this is the time to do that. This is the perfect time to practice that. It gets easier the more you do it. And I also taught someone this week how to use the pendulum and how to clear energy with the pendulum. So that was another Piscean thing. Piscean energies. This is where we're at right now. Making the use of it in a magical, outside the box kind of way. If you would like to experience more of this magic, you can connect with me and do the Reiki certification. You can also have a Reiki session. You can experience more of me and my tricks and tools in expansion mentoring. If you work with me for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, I'm going to teach you all sorts of things that you'll get to learn as part of the expansion mentoring experience. You can book a session with me astrologically at thegoldenastrologer.com, book online, and all the selections are there, including expansion mentoring and all the different types of Reiki, whether it's the certification or just having a session. And now that it's eclipse season, you can pick up my masterclass about eclipses, which I gave last October before the last set of eclipses. And if you're interested in that, you can also find that under the book online category on my website. Now, it won't discuss these eclipses particularly, but it talks about what eclipses are, why they work the way they do, and what the eclipse corridor is like. We are not in the eclipse corridor. We will not enter the eclipse corridor until the first eclipse. It's that 2-week period from the first eclipse to the end of the second eclipse, okay? And give it a few days before and after, because eclipse energy, even if you're starting something, and one of my frustrations during eclipse season is you start something during eclipse season, it doesn't pan out. I had plans with people coming to visit me, one of my frustrations this week, And they were coming when Mercury was going to start its retrograde on April 1st, and it would be smack in the middle of the eclipse season between the two eclipses. And it didn't work out. They're like, we can't come. And they had to cancel. They're going to come another time because they've got the tickets. But this is what I mean. The eclipse energy is already operating, and the Mercury retrograde is already operating, and we're not in it yet. So if I'm seeing this happening, we're already in it, and the effects of it are being felt now, sort of before any of this actually takes place. So, even if you're planning something to happen between the two eclipses, double check that, okay? Because if it's something you can't control, well, then that's, if you've got to go to a wedding of your family member or something, well, that's probably not the best time to get married, but you can't control that. I had more stuff to do with their planning this, and this is when they said they'd come. This is when they booked their tickets. I'm like, okay, I couldn't control that. But when I started to feel into the energy, I'm like, this is not happening, and it didn't, and it's not. So hopefully after all of this, we'll get sorted out, and we don't have to worry about things falling through the cracks during eclipse season. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Gratitude to each and every one of you, really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, from the depths of my being, from my soul. I thank each and every one of you. I really have tremendous gratitude for each of you listening to me every week. And I thank you. I hope you have a beautiful, ethereal week ahead and many blessings. And I will see you next week on Sun Neptune.